since the cultural connotations of the East, or at least India, and again the Hindu part of India, is so vehemently different from everybody else. First of all, there is no one, there is everyone. Is we can manufacture gods, no problem. So divinity is wholesale, right? Transcendence is wholesale, whatever that might mean in the psychoanalytic. Then the metaphysics are different in the sense that it's not like if I die, I die. Tomorrow I am a cockroach. Like, how does that impact the societal fabric? Like, how does that impact my unconscious? Like, if I were to, if I had to leave my listeners with one, say, tool of trying to connect the stories that they've heard, things that they're influenced by, and how that impacts their behavior. Let me take this as an example and ask you, how would you imagine a common relationship between my behavior from these stories, from my cultural unconscious?
I think one of the cultural unconscious stories is there is no absolutes in the Indian unconscious. Everything is relative. There's so many gods. One can do that. One can do that. It all depends on the context. So there is no absolute. There is no thou shalt kill or thou shalt not kill. It depends on where you are. Desh, Shram. There have been 4 coordinates of action in the Hindu one: the culture, the time, your stage of life, and what you inherit from the previous life, which one can say previous life means your forgotten life, the early childhood, I would say that. So, and nobody can know all those 4. So nobody can really know your action is bad or good. So that is, so yes, so you do what your community does or your caste does or what your big people do, but nobody can really know if your action is right or wrong. So this kind of uncertainty about right and wrong actions is a very strong part of the Indian cultural unconscious. And you see that in the laws also. In the Kama Sutra, for instance, there's a section on seducing wife of other men. So it starts with you shouldn't seduce the lives of them. No, that's the more. Except there's always exception. Right. If you're going to become mad with passion, also if you are going to get some material gains because her husband is something, etc., then you can. And at the end it says, but you shouldn't have done it. But this is the way.
That's my mind when I'm doing that.
So that's good. And this goes all through. I mean, every law, you shouldn't pee on the king's, that is the Shastra of King's Road.
Right.
Except if you're a small child, old man who can't hold it. So every rule has an exception. So exceptions are so many that there are no rules in that sense of and that as the positive part of the, as we said, adapting. So you can adapt very, very fast because there's nothing saying no, yes, no. But it also has a kind of this, people will say, moral ambiguity that all the time, which you deal with it.
And I think that, and that's just me, and maybe it is me for whatever reason I am me, but I just think that is more respectful. Like in the sense that if you create, I'm in the business of offering people advice now. Surprisingly, I found myself there, and I've realized the more, if you sufficiently complicate advice, it starts to look like real life. The more you put ifs, buts, excepts in your, right? And so the more it looks like real life, what that means is that there is a large amount of morality that is relative to at least the first 3 things that you mentioned. I do not know how much the last life carries into this life. It might, I'm not denying it, not taking it off the table, but it is like there is all these contextual things that need to be evaluated before you evaluate. There is universals too, but and that's the due respect. I think even that's my complaint with positive psychology. Like if you're going to tell me a decision X on the graph is purely positive, like where is the trade-off? There has to, you have to think about it sophisticatedly enough. You have to. So and maybe that's why I like my psychoanalytical therapeutic setting too, because I could say things and I knew that I could say things. I mean, I was a child when I did that. I had no better idea. Without feeling, and I'm sure no therapist would have judged, but the psychoanalytical therapy just allowed me to never consider even the fact that somebody might judge, and that changed a lot for me. So it just might be. It just might be.